Hey friends, Elizabeth here from Plant-Based Bride, and I'm back again with another Plan With Me video. This month I am doing a pop art, Andy Warhol, sort of comic book style Plan With Me for November, and this video is a really fun one because I've actually collaborated with It's Me, Andy, here on YouTube. Andy is really amazing. She's super creative, so I'm going to be linking to her video in the cards and in the description box, so go watch her video once you finish watching this one. And we're both doing the same theme, and I'm really excited to see how she interprets it because I know she's going to do something completely different from what I do, and it's going to be awesome and creative. So be sure to check out her video and subscribe to her if you haven't already. Also, another little reminder before we hop into the regular planning and voiceover, there will be a giveaway in this video as I promised, so be sure to watch right to the end so you can hear what is being given away and how you can enter. Okay, let's get into it. 1 second, my cat is crying. Let me see what's going on with that. 1 sec. Yes, Chewy? What is it? Come in. Why are you crying? Come here. Yeah, come here. Look. What's this? What is this? It's okay, buddy. Okay, I don't know what he's upset about. So for my cover page, I wanted to keep... My cat is going nuts with a mouse right now. Not a real mouse, it's a toy mouse. Anyway, so for my cover page, I wanted to keep it pretty simple, but obviously have that very graphic comic book feel. So I started off with bubble letters to write out NOV for November, and I wanted to do it in this sort of mustardy, orangey yellow. And then I created sort of a blast effect, is that what you call it? I don't know, around the letters in a bright light blue, and then I wanted to outline everything in black pen so it really had that graphic sort of comic book look to it, and do a bit of a shadow on the right side of all the letters. So while I'm adding all of these little dots, I'm just gonna pop up your recreations from this month on the screen. As always, if you love this setup and you recreate any of it, or if you recreate any of my older setups, please tag me on Instagram so that I can see them. I love to see your versions, and I also love to just generally see your setups. So even if it's not really directly inspired by my videos, I would really like to see what you're doing in your bullet journal. I always get a bunch of inspiration from all of you. So here are some of the awesome things that you did this month, and there's something extra special this month that I was so incredibly flattered by. Claudie Art Alley, I hope that's how you pronounce your username, actually did a digital drawing of me in Procreate. So this is their drawing of me. I think that's so incredible. It's so strange to have someone draw you, but also so flattering. So thank you for doing that. It's amazing. I will cherish this forever as the first fan art I've ever received. It is a little surreal. So anyway, thank you to all of you for sharing your art with me, and please continue to do so. I love connecting with all of you over on Instagram. Then comes the part that was the most time consuming, I think, of the entire setup, which was adding dots to the bottom and top of the page. So I decided it would be cool if I used my new Circle Master template and created a bunch of dots that got smaller as they got towards the center of the page. So if you have this template, template number 12041, then I started with the circle that is on the bottom row, so the smallest circles, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I used these 7 smallest circles, so they're on the bottom, and then along that left side, from the smallest to the 7th smallest. So I started with the 7th smallest and did 1 circle centered around every dot along the bottom of the page, and then I filled it in with pen, and then I went up the next row and used the 6th smallest, did that all the way across, then I moved up 1 row into the 5th smallest, etc., all the way up till I got to the smallest circle, and then I did 2 more rows, one just doing a little bit bigger than the actual dot on the page, and then the smallest one I basically just put a dot of the pen on top of the dot of the page. And my goal was to kind of make it look like it was going from that bigger circle all the way down to the dots on the page being those smallest dots in between, if that makes sense. So I'm really happy with how this turned out, but it did take a very long time. So if you're going to attempt to recreate this, just know it takes a long time. The Circle Master template definitely helped a lot with this though, especially in getting them all looking uniform. So if you don't already have a circle template, I would highly recommend it, especially this one is really awesome. And hint, hint, one of the things you will win in the giveaway, if you do win it, is this template. So now I'm moving on to the quote page, and for this month I wanted to do an Andy Warhol quote fitting in with the theme. So I just grabbed a hot pink piece of paper. This is from a set of pieces of paper in different colors and patterns. You can see them on my table below my notebook there, some of the different options. And this I got at Michael's, and if I can find this specific one or even just the packs of these cardboard papers, I will link them in the description box so you can check them out. But any kind of patterned papers or colored construction papers will work for this. So I just grabbed a hot pink one, and then I wrote out just in my regular day-to-day handwriting the quote, which says, "Don't think about making art, just get it done. Let everyone else decide if it's good or bad, whether they love it or hate it. While they are deciding, make even more art." Andy Warhol. So I wrote that out, and then I recreated Andy Warhol's famous painting of a banana. I did my best to make it look very similar to his. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it's what I could do. I did that on watercolor paper, and then I cut it out and glued it onto the corner of the quote. So now I am moving on to my monthly spread. This was the other spread that took the most amount of time. I actually completely changed my whole concept as I started to do it, but I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. So what I did is I grabbed a bunch of different papers from this set. So I have this blue polka dotted paper, I have this kind of textured yellow paper, the orange stripe paper, and then a burgundy sort of textured look paper. And then I used my circle template to kind of create these graphic looking drips. So I just kind of traced around the circle and then drew straight lines up or down to kind of make this drip look, and then cut it out and kind of placed them together the way I thought they would look nice, sort of overlapping. And I started with the purple sort of burgundy one because that was going to be the bottom layer. And I was originally just going to do this effect along the right side there, the right margin, but I changed my mind as I started to do it and decided I was going to carry this all the way across. So you'll see I had to cut little patches of the blue polka dot paper so that I could extend it around, and I tried to line it up as well as I could. When I was visiting my parents and I showed my mom the spread, she couldn't even tell that it was 3 pieces, so I think that's pretty good, considering I didn't plan it ahead of time and then had to try to match up all the paper. So I just started with that burgundy sort of purple paper and glued it down, and then glued down the orange paper where I thought it looked nice, then the yellow, and then the blue. And then I sort of created it backwards on the other side since I had to start with the blue dots, but I just made sure not to glue down the bottom edge of the blue so I could slide the yellow underneath. And then I actually went back down and started with the purple since that would be easier. I decided to skip ahead to when I completed the other side of the page so that you wouldn't have to watch me drawing all those drips all over again. I basically did the exact same thing, except in knowing that I was going to do the whole page, I turned those pieces of paper sideways so they would actually cover the entire page instead of having to patch it together. And I decided it would look cool if I did the same colors going down, but using different patterns. So instead of doing it exactly the same, I still had blue on the top, but it was that plain textured blue instead of the polka dots. I still had yellow next, but instead of doing the plain textured yellow, I decided to do the striped yellow. Same thing with the orange, I did polka dots instead of stripes. And then again, for that burgundy purple, I did stripes instead of the plain textured. And I really like how that turned out. It still feels cohesive, but it's a little off center, which I feel is really appropriate for a pop art theme. I then went in with more of that yellow striped paper and wrote out similar bubble letters to my cover page. And then I grabbed what was left of that purple paper that I'd used, flipped it upside down so I'd have the white side, and drew out these little bubble clouds to use along the top as the days of the week so you can tell which day is which on the month. And I really like how that turned out. I feel like the clouds and the header really pull in that comic book feel, while the background, all of those sort of graphic drips really feel like pop art to me, especially with the colors and the patterns. And I really, really, really like how this turned out, despite the fact that it took me a very long time and it wasn't at all what I had planned out ahead of time. So now I'm moving on to my sleep and moods tracker. I just started out by writing the letters of moods and sleep on yellow and blue paper, cutting them out, and then just placing them on a scrap piece of paper so I could use my black Tombow to outline them. I then grabbed more of that blue paper to cut out sort of a puddle. And this is supposed to be a puddle of tears, which Jason laughed at me for, but I think it's great. So this is a puddle of tears below the moods header. And then I also cut out a little puddle that would fit on the corner of the moods tracker. Now I'm moving on to the artwork in the bottom right-hand corner. This is a woman who is crying, and to me, she kind of ended up looking like Veronica from the Archie comics, which is pretty appropriate since Riverdale just came back on the air. Let me know in the comments below if you watch Riverdale, and if so, who your favorite character is, because as much as I sometimes find it really ridiculous and think I should stop watching it, I just can't seem to. And my favorite character is probably Cheryl, just because she's so out there and ridiculous, but I find her really funny. So I'm keeping her pretty simple. I'm not using too much color, mostly just the red of her lips, the blue of the tear, and then she's getting black hair, which I started by adding highlights in a midnight blue, and then I'm coloring around that with a black just to give her hair a little more dimension so it's not just a black blob. As always, every material that I used in this video will be listed in the description box, so you can check it out if you're interested in the specific Tombows that I used or anything else that I use in this video. Now I'm adding the hours along the top of the sleep tracker, starting with 4 p.m. and going to 3 p.m. And then I'm adding the days of the month along the right side of the mood tracker, which I will be using for both the sleep and the mood tracker. I also added in the symptoms and moods that I will be tracking. I created these little Zs to put around the sleep tracker because I felt like it needed something extra. And I also added dotted lines down at 11 p.m., which is my goal sleep time, and down at 8 a.m., which is my goal wake up time. So the last spread I am doing in this video is my first weekly spread, and while it looks like it's very different, it's actually the exact same concept. So I'm still doing my running task list or running weekly. If you're not familiar with this type of weekly setup, I highly recommend you check out the video I did on it. I did a dedicated video explaining how this setup works and why I like it, so I'll link that in the cards. The only difference this time is I wanted to have a little bit more space for every day. I just felt like I was running out of room on my old setup. So I did something that I actually used to do in bullet journals way back before I even found the rolling weekly, which is giving each day of the week half of a page, but folding the center page so that I can always see my to-do list, which has now become my task list, no matter what day of the week I'm on. And the weekly I kept pretty simple, just very comic book inspired. Did the same idea with the week one, just writing out those letters and cutting them out and outlining them. And then I just added little headers for each day in a little box with a bit of a drop shadow to give it that comic book feel. And I also really like how the colors turned out on this. Adding those 4 colors really pulled the spread together. And those are all of the spreads that I'm doing for my November plan with me. So I have my cover page, my quote page, my calendar, my sleep and moods trackers, and my weekly. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked this theme. I feel like this is a little bit outside of my comfort zone. It's something a little different. But when Andy and I were talking about what theme we wanted to do, we both agreed we wanted to do something really creative that we hadn't necessarily seen before. And we both loved the idea of a Andy Warhol pop art comic book type theme. So I hope that you all love it as much as we do. Don't forget to go check out Andy's video. Again, her video will be linked in the cards, and it will be in the description box, so go watch it when this one's done. But before you go do that, don't forget to hang around because I'm gonna tell you right now about the giveaway. So just like last month, the giveaway rules are pretty simple, but before I tell you the rules, I'm going to tell you what you can win. So as I hinted earlier on in this video, the first thing you will be winning is a Picket Circle Master number 12041 inking template. It's a bunch of circles from a 3-inch circle all the way down to a 1.587 millimeter circle. So you have a huge range of circles that you can use in your bullet journal, whether you want to use them to create perfect circles for your bullets on your dailies, or if you need a big circle for some art you're doing or for a header. The next thing you'll be winning is the Tombow dual brush pen color chart and blending palette that I used in this video. It's basically a laminated color chart where you can see every color that they have in the Tombows, and you can use the back side to blend your colors. So if you don't have a blending palette currently, and if you don't want to DIY it as I usually do with a page protector, I will be giving you your own Tombow dual brush pen blending palette so that you can use that to blend. And also I find the color chart really helpful to look at how I want to combine different Tombows that I have. And then finally, the last thing that you will be winning is a set of Tombow brush pens. So I posted in my stories maybe a week ago now asking which set you were all interested in winning, and there were so many responses and everything was basically tied right down the middle. So I didn't want to just pick one ahead of time, so I'm going to allow the winner to choose the set they want. So these sets come with 9 colors and the clear blender, and there's a brights set, a pastels, galaxy, muted, grayscale, primary, landscape, portrait, and secondary. I would suggest you go check out the Tombow website if you want to see all of the options. So whoever wins this gets to pick which of those sets they would like to receive, and I'll go out and get it for you. So those are the prizes: the Circle Master template, the blending palette color chart, and a Tombow brush pen set. So how do you win? Well, the rules are basically exactly the same as our last giveaway. All of the rules will be in the description box, so if you forget or you want to double check what they are, they will be there so you can check them out. But very quickly, here are the rules. Rule number 1, you must be subscribed to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. Rule number 2, like this video and leave a comment below. The comment can be anything you like, just so long as you include your Instagram handle, because rule number 3 is that you go follow me on Instagram. I'll have a link and my username in the description box so you can check it out. And that's it, those are all the rules. I'll be leaving this giveaway open until Monday morning. That gives you 48 hours to enter. And on Monday morning, I will be choosing one random winner and contacting them on Instagram to let them know they've won and to find out which Tombow set they'd like to get and their mailing information so I can send it out to them. This giveaway is open internationally. No matter where you live, I will send this to you if you win. And if you're under 18, please ask your parents for permission to enter the giveaway. And that is absolutely it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to go check out Andy's video. I am sure it's amazing. Thank you, Andy, for agreeing to do this collab with me. It was so much fun. And I'll see you all very soon in my next video. Bye, friends.